Okay, class, welcome to English 2333. Once again, world literature, 17th century to modern. My name is Lawrence Welsh, or Larry Welsh, Mr. Welsh. I'm a tenured English professor at the community college, El Paso Community College. I have been for many years. And what I'd like to do today is talk a little bit about the class, about what's going to be happening in the weeks ahead, et cetera, go over the books. And then this will be followed up with other lectures where I will be talking about, what's happening and what we're studying. Class, so let's kick it off here. Once again, what I'll be referencing is this, which you've already received. This is a printout of El Paso Community College Syllabus Instructors Course Requirements, Spring 2021. Now, I already sent you, once again, the requirements from the college and the college's syllabus in regards to this class. This is going to be my own particular calendar and requirements for what's happening this semester. So, once again, believe it or not, class, it is the spring of 2021. English 2333. This is CRN 20712. World Literature, once again, 17th century to modern. Professor Lawrence Welsh, we've talked about. Once again, I'm your professor. I'm a tenured English professor, longtime English, full-time professor at El Paso Community College. The prerequisite for this class is English 1301. If we were on campus class, I would have office. My office is A1208, but certainly this is a online class, so I won't be in my office because of the pandemic. And then office hours, it says under here, virtual is announced, so almost probably about every 10 days or so throughout the semester. Usually on Friday, I'll have live question and answer sessions where you can ask me anything, and so I'm available for that class, for office hours, live. Class, then, once again, the text is the Norton Anthology, once again, of World Literature, D, E, and F. So, once again, this is the first volume we're going to be dealing with. You want to make sure and have this book by now. The Norton Anthology of World Literature, the fourth edition. Once again, this is D, and this is E. And this will be finishing off the semester with F. And all these come together in one package, okay? And that's going to be it for the semester. The beautiful thing is after the semester is over, you can keep these. And if you don't have a library or have started your own library, this would be a great addition to it. Some of you may already have started a library, but these D, E, and F of the Norton Anthology of World Literature, you can go back throughout the years and for the rest of your whole life. Certainly, like I do with my library, certainly as I do with other Norton anthologies, including these, that I go back to all of the time. Class, once again, so those are the books. We've looked over this, and then it says, this is a discussion workshop class, not a lecture class. Therefore, you must attend each class period to participate, group activities, discussion, and in-class writing. And then it talks here, class, about my attendance and policy on missing classes, etc., etc. That's all changed because of once again, the coronavirus, the pandemic, and being online. Now, the situation is this is a class that doesn't meet at a particular date and time. You follow along, you do the work, I give you the handouts, the readings that you need to do. excuse me, and we do it that way. So once again, we're not meeting officially in class. This is a class that happens once again on your own time. Okay? Under deadlines is very important. Late work is not acceptable and will be penalized 1 letter grade for each day it is late. Your writing and presentations are important parts of the text for this class, so your work must be completed on time at the beginning of class or on the day that they are due. I do not make up midterms and finals. All assigned dated readings on the calendar must be done before arriving in class. So, you want to stay up with your readings, and we're going to discuss today, once again, the dates and times for assignments. Then it talks about essay preparation. Before your essays are due, class, I will give you and go over with you the specific schematic on the way that a college essay is supposed to look. So I'll help you with that. Now, how are you going to earn your grades this semester? There'll be an oral presentation, grade, a midterm, a final, essay, class participation. Each one of those are worth 25%. Class. So, now, and then it tells us, class, on page 2, once again, one of the main components of this class will be, once again, the oral presentation. Okay, the oral presentation. During the semester, it says here on page 2, each student will make a 15 to 20 minute oral presentation to the class on an author or work we will discuss during that period. The student's presentation might be limited to the writer's impact on history, cultural or literary trends in his or her period, or a comparison and contrasting of the major author's works and motives within and across periods. In addition, the student might choose to explain key elements of the lives and art of individual writers or analyze the works in their historical and universal context. Each presentation, however, will include a brief biography of the writer and will be graded partially on the effectiveness of the presentation. Although props aren't required, students are encouraged to use them if their presentation will benefit from them. All oral presentations topics will be approved ahead of time by the instructor during a one-on-one conference with the student, and I will have those, and I will walk you through that process one step at a time. And we'll talk more about this throughout the semester. I'll take it one step at a time, giving you more of the details on how we're going to proceed, once again, class, with the oral presentation. Midterm. You're going to have an in-class writing of critical analysis of plays in relation to their historical and universal context. Plays and or other forms of literature. And we'll talk about that more. I'll get you well prepared for your midterm, once again, class, when the time comes. And then you're going to have a final exam this semester. During the final exam period, you will write an essay concerning the literature required during the semester. A selection of the literature and or plays will be presented ahead of time, and the final questions will come from those required readings, okay? So that's where we are, class, in regards to the class. Then we look at the calendar. And so we are into the second week. The first week, once again, class, they were certainly still registering students for classes that whole first week. So once again, some new students were added, and there were some adjustments being made. So I was real careful, once again, to not march ahead too fast during those times. You did, class, that notes about me, my interests, and myself. I'd like for you to hand those in once again on Monday or by Monday. And class, those are, once again, those are in our handout section on Blackboard. And those, once again, class, gives me a little overview of who you are. That's not going to be a graded assignment, but I like reading those. Class, also, since we're there on Blackboard, that is where your work is. I have a tab for the course policies and calendar and syllabus. That's where you pulled this from, this document. And then announcements, that I send you announcements through Blackboard through there. Course messages, when those come through us through there. Lectures, I will post my lectures on there, etc., etc. And then if we have handouts for this class, they will all be there. So, and then class, if you need to contact me, once again, contact me through Blackboard, and you can send anything you want, any comments or any way I ever need to help you through Blackboard messages. All right. You're also going to send in your work this semester through Blackboard messages. All right. So we keep it simple that way. Now, so last week, orientation, introductions, once again. If we were in class, we would have spent time in class doing and getting prepared for introducing each other. But we're not in a regular classroom, so things change. So send me those by Monday, the orientation course. And then class, once again, week 2, continue overview, which we're doing right now. We're having an overview here. And then I am going to, certainly next week, I'm going to start doing some lectures where we're going to be going over literary terms that are already, once again, within your text. I'm going to discuss those. So look at the appendixes. Look over, once again, class, the literary terms that we're going to be using, once again, this semester. I'm going to be lecturing from some of my own notes, once again, on different literary terms that will give us a context, once again, a context for, once again, the rest of the semester. And then I'll start also, once again, lecturing on the overview of world literature. That will certainly be happening next week, once again. That will be happening next week. And then class, we deal with Alpha Ben, and then also next week, once again, when I get through this overview of lecturing and introduction of the course that I will do, I'm going to discuss literary terms and post a lecture on that. Then we'll start moving right into Jonathan Swift. So look at that right now, class. Be reading ahead if you can. Once again, we're dealing with Jonathan Swift in the textbook. So read, once again, those layouts in regards to him on what we need to be dealing with Swift. And then in my introductions too, I will be talking more about the different aspects of world literature. But know that Jonathan Swift, within your textbook here, we have Alpha Ben on 198, once again, in your edition of the text. And then you'll be moving into heavy reading of Jonathan Swift, starting on page 282. And we will be moving right from 282 right up into page 337. So be moving ahead with that once again. We're going to read from Gulliver's Travels. We're going to read, once again, A Voyage to the Country of the Houyhnhnms, the Houyhnhnms, of course, and then his fantastic send-up that Swift did. We'll finish off your readings with Swift with his send-up, once again, that I even studied in a journalism class many decades ago when I was at California State University at Long Beach. In a journalism class, I also studied his fabulous mock horror essay, A Modest Proposal, where Jonathan Swift is saying that has some really funny, draconian, awful messages about the Irish. And I can talk about that once again, since I am Irish American, with my mom right from Ireland. So that's where we are, class. That's where we need to be. Alfred Ben, then right into In Your Text, Jonathan Swift, who lived from 1667 to 1745. You'll be reading right from Gulliver's Travels, A Voyage to the Country of the Hunnemans, and then A Modest Proposal. So if you're into that reading, in volume D of your world literature, you'll be in good shape. I will lecture on that, and that will get us moving throughout the semester. So, class, remember that if you need help this semester, the Writing Center is there. We'll talk about that once again. For all your classes, we mentioned that every 10 days or so for sure, or once a week, but just as needed, I will have a question and answer session live. And class, once again, Blackboard, that's where you'll find everything. That's where you'll find my announcements, my handouts, etc., etc. And then on Monday, once again, if you could by Monday send me those notes about me and myself, etc., etc. So, very good, class. Very good. That is where we are. That is exactly where we are. And so, I take a second to look over this preface once again in Norton Anthology of World Literature class. In this preface, I like to look at where it talks us about they arrive in boats. This is on 1X, IX of the preface in our book. Men exhausted from years of warfare and travel, as they approach the shore, their leader spots signs of habitation, flocks of goats and sheep, smoke rising from dwellings. A natural harbor permits them to anchor their boats so they will be safe from storms. The leader takes an advance team with him to explore the island. It is enriched in soil and vegetation. Natural springs flow with cool, clear water. With luck, they will be able to replenish their provisions and be on their way. Okay? In the world of these men, welcoming travelers is a sacred custom. A sacred custom. Sanctioned by the gods themselves. It is also good policy among seafaring people. Someday, the roles may very well be reversed. Today's host may be tomorrow's guest. Yet, the travelers can never be certain whether a particular people will honor their custom. Wondering what to expect, the 13 men enter one of the caves dotting the coastline, all right? So this was, class, the story of hospitality which ended up going wrong was from the Odyssey, one of the best known works in all of world literature. We learn of this strange encounter of Greek soldiers with the one-eyed Cyclops. So once again, what we see here, class, is world literature is the going out, which we do in ourselves. Going out to explore different lands, going out to explore different places, going out to explore different languages, once again, going out to the opening of new worlds to us, once again, through literature. And that is what we do. All right. class, and then within that, within the going out that we do, that has been going on for centuries of people traveling, the traveler, the wanderer, the seeker, once again. It tells us here that in the Odyssey, it was partly Odysseus' fault that the encounter between the cultures went so badly when they did. Were he and his companions simply travelers badly in need of food? Or were they looters hoping to enrich themselves? The passage suggests that it's a matter of narrative perspective from whose point of view the story is told. So that's another thing we always ask ourselves, who is telling the story? Who is telling the story? Is it a story of imperialism? Is it a story of nationalism? Is it a story coming from a native perspective? Is it a story sometimes coming maybe from the personification of a tree or an animal? Once again, world literature. Homer's Odyssey reminded us that the travel, trail, exile, migration, and cultural encounters of all kinds have been features of human experience for thousands of years, class. So, as humans, travel, once again, trade, once again, going out, once again, for thousands of years, ideas, the experience of reading world literature too, once again, that they tell us here, is a form of travel. So when we read world literature, we're engaging in travel ourselves, a mode of cultural encounter that presents us with language that we encounter, and how lucky we are that we can. Class, language, cultural norms, yes, customs and ideas that may be unfamiliar to us, even strange. And so that is, once again, why we're in school. One of the reasons why we study literature, why we're in, once again, college, to experience things that are new and strange and different. Okay? And that's the hope. And that's the beauty of being a college-educated person. There's a lot of beauty in the world, whether you go to college or not. But one of the things that studying literature in college will do, certainly make a person more well-rounded. It happened to me. It happened to me certainly at the community colleges where that journey started. I mean, I was already digging in my own literary pursuits by the time I got to the community college. I was a pretty good reader. I didn't have the best junior and senior year in high school. But when I started to come out of that fog, once again, it was about staying open, being as open as you can, or open as I could, or that's what we do in literature, to discover the new and to discover things that are strange, So we're not people like this. That's why we go to college. So we're not very, very narrow and very, very tight, We want to expand our world, expand it. I mean, I think that's the notion of college, is this expansion of the world, What are we going to learn from literature? What are we going to learn from other cultures? What are we going to learn from traveling? What are we going to learn from delving into new languages? What are we going to do? Oh, what the hell? My hands aren't orange, but they look orange in this light. Anyway, class, what are we going to learn? How are we going to expand and keep expanding, once again, our horizons? And that's certainly, class, that's certainly, once again, what digging into world literature, does. We want to grow, right? We want to grow. All of us, no matter who we are. I am your professor, but more so than your professor, I'm a student, right? And so, as a student, I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to stay open. I don't want to be one of these people who say they know everything, right? I try and know as little as possible and then just keep staying open to learning new things. The same with like writing, right? For what it's worth, it's not a big deal, but I've published 12 books, and my last two are from the University of New Mexico Press. And I've got a bunch of other completed manuscripts because I'm a writer, and I have been writing every day for 35 years. That's just a fact. And by doing that, I learn. You know, am I exactly where I want to be as a writer? Not exactly. Am I somewhere? Yes. Is the journey going to continue? Yes, because it's like writing is like traveling, right? We're moving out. We're learning new things. We're discovering world literature. Things are strange. Things are, sometimes you meet people that are they're very narrow. They haven't been exposed to a lot. Does that mean you're better than them? No. What do I want for you? To be exposed to a lot. And a lot of strange things, right? So you can expand yourself and you become, once again, an educated person. The Traveler class. The Epic of Gilgamesh, for example, takes its readers on a tour of Uruk, the first large city in human history, which was in today it's Iraq, boasting of its city walls, its buildings and temples, and their stairways and foundations, all made of clay bricks. Like a tour guide, the test even lets its readers inspect, once again, the city's clay pits over and over, once again. The miraculous city made of clay, the greatest marvel of them all is, of course, the Epic of Gilgamesh itself, which was inscribed on the clay tablets, the first monument of literature. Okay. And then it tells us in the preface here, it tells us that from its beginning, the Norton Anthology of World Literature has been committed to offering students and teachers as many complete or substantially represented texts as possible. Class. This fourth edition emphasizes the importance of foundational texts as never before by offering new translations of some of the best known and best loved works in the history of world literature. The Epic of Gilgamesh stands first in line of these foundational texts, which capture the story of an entire people, telling them where they came from and who they are. Some foundational texts, become an object of worship and are deemed sacred, while others are revered as the most consequential story of an entire civilization. Because foundational texts inspire, so the foundation of what can be built on in literature, inspire countless retellings as Homer did in the Greek tragedies. These texts are reference points for the entire subsequent history of literature. All right? And it says, perhaps no text is more foundational than the one with which we open this preface, Homer's Odyssey. Okay? Once again, the Odyssey. The trip. Once again, the going out. The going out. The going out to what? New understanding, new exploration, new sometimes challenges, new troubles, new experiences, a new life, or building on the lives we have. Class. Sometimes I think of, the journey that I'm on, say, for example, I like to share this with students. You know, I went to the community college many decades ago, and it's where a big transformation started for me in classes like this. And my school was in what's considered the South Bay of Los Angeles County, is called El Camino. So in Spanish, the road, El Camino, or the path, the highway, and it was fascinating because that was a journey in itself. Not only was the school called the journey, but it was a journey, and into literature, into writing, into, you know, the other classes. I took business classes or whatever, but it was all a journey and a place of struggle and a place of triumph. So I was thinking the other day, I was talking to my wife, a bunch of my friends that came out of the community college, just like any community college, there were people I know that never finished, and people who thought it was a joke, and the beach wasn't too far away. So, you know, it was all right. People would show up to class after going surfing and doing things like this. And then there were a lot of people that it radically changed their lives. So that's what you have available to you at El Paso Community College, is that transformation. And if you want it, you know, it's here. And if you want it, don't let anybody ever, you know, stop you from it. You know, I'm here to help. You know, just as my professors did. You know, they revolutionized my life. But I was ready for it when I started. I was 23 years old. And I wanted, you know, I just wanted something new. And I wanted to have some new job prospects. So, and it did. It opened, you know, the world where I could become a writer. I could become a journalist. I work on a newspaper. Became an editor. Got into teaching. Started publishing books, fiction and poetry, and, you know, became a teacher, professor. I want these things for you, whatever you want. This is a good place. It's an intense place. We're in a challenging time right now with this pandemic, a challenging time. But we'll get through it. You know, we'll get through it. I want you to think, you know, think big. You know, don't be limiting yourself. You know, college can help you. It can help you. This is a transformational place. You got to be ready. You got to want it. And that's what my hope is. And then my hope is also that you'll find something at the community college. And, you know, if you dig it, study it the rest of your life. But, you know, be easy on yourself right now, class. Be easy on yourself. It's a tough time we're going through. Will we get through it? Yes. What do I want for you? The best. Okay? The best. No matter how you slice it, you can't lose when you're going to college. You just can't lose, you know. Because yes, we want better jobs. Yes, we want more opportunities in life. Same reasons why I went, you know. I grew up in a blue collar, working class, Irish American Catholic household. My father was a bus driver. Never went to college. He's a good man and a smart man and a reader. He never went to college. My mom never went to high school because she was an Irish immigrant. She came to America. Why? She wanted opportunities, you know, like some of your parents or maybe grandparents. So I'm a first generation, certainly first generation. I am college student. And my parents wanted better things, you know. And so I went to community college, the university, graduate school. All these things are available, you know. So stay strong. And you can never lose when you're dealing with literature and you're reading and you're studying and you're taking these trips that we're starting to take already this semester. So, with that said, class, make sure you have the books. You can turn in the notes about me, my interests in myself by Monday. I look forward to reading those. It's not for a grade, and then we'll just start moving on. And where I told you we're going to move on to next week. Next week. So, class, I hope you have a great weekend. Once again, good luck, good luck, good luck. I hope you can stay safe, that your family can stay safe. And once again, welcome to English 13. Not English 1301, English 2323. Once again, world literature, 17th century to modern. All right, class, and I hope you have a great weekend. Take care now. Good luck.